Hey everybody, welcome back to Cooking During COVID. We're so glad you've decided to join us actually for the third week in a row. We have a great segment for you today. I'm so thankful during this time for the progress that we've actually made with quarantining, etc. However, I wanted to address one thing today. I wanted to talk to everybody about being kind, being considerate and kind in a world where you can be anything. This is what I'm asking, to be considerate and kind. Everyone has their own opinions on what's going on, and I feel like right now there's this division, and I'm secretly praying for unity amongst people, bringing everybody together. So what brings people better together than really good food? Today I'm going to just do a little trick. So if you can shut off your TV, you'll stop thinking about everything else, the news, the weather. Pick up a wooden spoon and come join us. Today we're cooking Lebanese. I'd like to introduce a very dear friend, Sam Faysal. Come on in, Sam. His lovely daughter, Layla, and my lovely assistant, Isabella. So thanks for coming, guys. Sam is a nurse practitioner by trade, a chiropractic background, so right up my alley. Very knowledgeable. He's going to walk us through, tell us what we're making.
All right, so we are going to make 3 dishes. Okay. We're going to make kafta bisiniye. I'll tell you what that is.
So, I don't need anything I can't pronounce, so you're going to walk me through this. So, okay.
Okay, so we're going to make kafta.
Kafta.
Bisiniye.
Bisiniya.
Yep, which means basically meat in a pan.
Well, I'm all about it.
There you go.
Okay, so I have some vegetarian and vegan followers.
Right.
And what could we tell them? It also has vegetables in it.
Absolutely. So it'll have tomatoes, onions, and potatoes.
Okay.
And there's parsley in the meat. So
could we do a portobello mushroom or an eggplant base for the meat?
Yeah, we can do.
There you go. For our friends that don't eat meat,
yeah.
If you don't eat meat, you just eat chicken. I mean, there's no rules. So
that's blasphemy because you don't want to substitute the meat.
I totally get it. I just have to answer some questions.
Yeah.
So, and we have Meredith back with us again, and she's going to answer any of your questions. So this teacher is getting schooled today. So if you would like to ask us questions while we're making kafta, and then we are making.
Then we're going to do baba ganoush.
Baba ganoush. How about that?
Right. So it's I like to say it's the cousin of hummus, which everybody eats hummus. So baba ganoush, it's the same thing as hummus, but you substitute the chickpeas and you put eggplants.
Which I love.
Yeah, and actually, it's my favorite dip. I like it way better than hummus, but that's just a preference.
So I like hummus, but chickpeas are a legume, and some people, depending on the diet's autoimmune protocol, some people just don't do well with legumes, and chickpea is a legume. So I'm gonna love this. I'm gonna love this.
Yep.
And last but not least,
my favorite salad You may or may not heard of it. It's called fattoush.
Whoa. Fattoush?
Well, no, I want to make your toast fat.
Okay. I'm just checking. Okay, keep watching.
Fattoush, and it's basically, if you translate it, it's called peasant salad. If you want to translate it in English, it's pretty cool.
So
We'll
kind
say
of a
why.
kitchen sink thing. Oh,
Absolutely. Yeah, kitchen
maybe
sink.
so.
There you go.
Okay,
You just
I
go in the
love
kitchen
that.
sink.
So what are we gonna do first?
Let's do this because this is going to take a little bit a while. So we're going to go ahead and cut the potatoes.
Okay.
The ones that we're going to put in the kefta.
Wonderful.
We want to kind of pre-cook them a little bit, and then we're going to take the eggplants and whole. We're just going to probably put a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of salt and pepper on them.
Oh,
Thank goodness.
No, you're just going to roast them.
I was envisioning something totally different, so that's going to be easy.
That's going to be
Okay.
nice and easy.
So
let me give them.
Yes, we'll give the girls the potatoes. If you haven't already preheated your oven, we have ours today at convection bake at 425, or you can go ahead straight up bake at 450. Don't worry, when we put these potatoes in, we're not going to cook them all the way. So go ahead, Layla.
When you're doing the potatoes, you're gonna cut them first, and then you're gonna cook them so that way when it's in the dish, you're not they don't come out crunchy because they won't get cooked long enough. So you're just gonna take it and cut it not too thin, like not potato chip thin, but right about, I don't know if you can see this. So like about yay thick. So
Beautiful.
Not too. I don't know if you can see that, but.
Is that your gift, Layla? Can you cut things evenly?
No,
Definitely not.
Right.
It's all right.
Cut
It's
another
okay.
one just exactly like that.
So while the girls are...
Olive oil, a little bit of salt and pepper. Just a little bit of olive oil and salt.
I love all of this cooking with eggplant. Eggplant has been one of those things that I'm scared of.
Meredith
I
just bought an
know,
eggplant for the
for my
first
very
time.
first time. Like I see them in the store, I think they're so pretty. I just don't know what to do with them.
So I've never cooked an eggplant just whole like this.
Yep.
That's
So
crazy.
could you put this on the grill? An eggplant whole?
Yeah, absolutely.
So he's rubbing the eggplant right now. Rubbing it with
There
all
you
over
go.
so it's fully coated.
There you
So,
go.
and we're going to use just a little
Sprinkle
pinch.
there you go.
Just a little pinch of salt all over that. Flip it over. I'm going to just show I'm going to butt in on you guys for just
I think he's
1
gonna be-
second. Oh, Carter's right here. Awesome. Woo, they're rolling around. I promise they're not living. All right, so I'm going to pop these in my oven. Here we go. And how long do you think we're going to do this for? About 20 minutes? or
About
so?
20 minutes. Probably closer to 30 minutes because you want them to get it nice and roasted. So you can, don't be, when you get ready to roast them in the oven or you put them on the grill, if the skin gets a little bit black, don't worry about that because we are going to be peeling the skin. So the skin is not going to be part of the recipe. So don't worry about that.
That's awesome. Last week I said that I leave skin on everything for the antioxidants, but there are certain textures. There's just different, that old expression, 17 ways to skin a cat. So everybody does things differently, and that's wonderful. And I'm anticipating, because I leave skin on, I have made baba ganoush before, and I never roasted the whole. I would cut it and then roast it. My skin, my seeds, everything was in there. I'm anticipating that your recipe is going to be a lot smoother. So I guess we'll see, but I think it's going to be a lot smoother.
Do you want to do
So-
salt and pepper on these or no?
Just a little olive oil, a little bit of salt.
There we go.
It'll be good.
Here's your olive oil right here, sweetie.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry.
You're fine.
There we go. And these are gonna be layered in our dish, correct?
Correct. So you put
job.
these, you put the meat as the base, and then you'll do the potatoes and then the sliced tomatoes on top with the tomato sauce.
How many Irish guys you think are here saying that's shepherd's pie? How many people are
Right,
watching?
for
It's
sure.
not
They're like, they
shepherd's
stole that
pie.
from us.
Shepherd's pie.
Okay, well we know that Lebanon's a little bit older, right? So,
Yeah, just look in the Torah. You'll be good. Sorry. All right, do you want to, okay, so from here, then we'll probably go ahead and get started on making the meat for the kefta,
Okay.
because that's going to take a while. So you just want to go ahead and get ground beef. I think that's in your recipe.
Yes, it was on our list of ingredients. Yes.
Oh, I'm going to be recipe checking y'all the whole
Right,
time.
so this-
Michelle knows I have to follow
We're
a
gonna
recipe.
need 2 pounds of ground beef.
Right?
Wait, did we say it was 1.5 or 2 pounds?
It's going to be 2 pounds of ground beef.
Half an onion. Do you want me to cut the onion?
Oh, we don't need that.
Recipe says 2 yellow onions.
Yeah.
Small.
Yes.
So the small yellow onions.
I love your well.
You're
This is
probably
gonna be
need
good.
Less. So there's your ground beef
Okay,
right there.
you
I am using, as always, right? I am using my my ground beef from Yonder Way Farm. It's my favorite farm in the whole world. And we are using just straight up ground beef. Funny story, when Sam got here today, he was like, and we're going to use a food processor. And I was like, did you bring one? So I have a food processor. We're actually going to transport into the Vitamix. Why don't you explain how your mom used to do this? And then,
So typically, if you have a food processor, the way my mom used to make it is she would literally put the meat in there, salt, pepper, take the tops of the parsley, put them in there, about a half an onion, throw it in there, and you let that mix. So every now and then she'll stop, mix it a little bit, and you just gotta let it mix.
definitely.
So that just kind of, you put everything in there, but we're not gonna do that today.
We're ad-libbing. So if you have a food processor, fabulous.
Right.
Go ahead and put the meat, the parsley, and the onion all together in your food processor.
Salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper.
Do you want
Don't
half
forget
an
the salt
onion?
and pepper. That's gonna
Half an
really
onion,
give it.
yes. And then
Chopped
if you
or
don't, roughly chopped, I guess, right? Roughly.
Which one?
The onion.
The onion, no, you're just gonna really quarter it.
Right?
Yeah, peel it and then just quarter it. That's about it.
And if you don't have a food processor and like you're doing with what I'm doing, I'm going to do the onion, parsley, salt, pepper in the Vitamix, and that's almost, it's gonna make it like a paste, I guess,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes.
So I'm gonna go ahead and wash this parsley. And we just need the tops, correct?
So what we'll do is, so you guys could do it two ways if you want. You could salt and pepper the beef right now, and then, while you're doing this, or if you want to salt and pepper the parsley and the onion, you can do that too. So it's up to you.
Either way, so how much salt, how much pepper would you say for those people like Meredith who are
I need
going to
a
ask,
measurement.
she's going to ask you
Yes.
that.
Okay, so
Not a
you have to
drizzle,
ask me
not a
that. So
splash,
here's
not
my
a
salt.
dash, not
Alright,
to throw it
so
over my
I would
shoulder.
definitely say we're using 2 pounds of meat. Yes, go ahead. Nope. I just would want 2 quarters. Yeah, that's plenty.
Yep.
I would say about a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons, depending on how much you like the salt. Let's see.
See what a
That's a
tablespoon looks
tablespoon
like.
there.
Yeah. So so this is a tablespoon. So we're looking. Let's see. That's about that's a tablespoon will be good.
Tablespoon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fresh cracked pepper
Yeah.
is.
So a tablespoon would be good.
Here's some fresh cracked pepper.
And so here's how much pepper. So my mom, she always wanted us. I would say, Mom, so why would you want to add so much pepper? She's like, it will it's kind of a Lebanese term. She'd say it will kill the zemcha, which is basically, if the meat has a kind of a really gaminess.
Interesting.
The pepper's there for it. But
Interesting.
So we're gonna add probably not a tablespoon of pepper, but I would say maybe
Solid half.
about a half.
While Sam is measuring the pepper, I'm going to take an opportunity to talk a little bit about parsley. We're actually using curly parsley. If you got flat leaf, it's not a big deal. I love them both. So they taste very similar. We're only going to use the tops in this. I did buy organic parsley. For those of you, I'm really trying to make people believers of organic. Basically, I actually looked it up at one point to find out just how much pesticide would be in something like a fresh herb. And it was a lot.
Wow.
So we're using organic parsley, and I'm just going to break the tops. We used the stems of cilantro last week. We're not going to use these stems this week. We're just going to use these curly tops.
So is there any real taste or difference between flat leaf or curly?
I want to say the curly's a little bit stronger. Myself.
Pungent.
I don't know, what do
Okay,
you
yeah,
think?
I don't know.
So,
We may need to have a little taste test.
Curly leaf versus flat leaf parsley.
My mom always cooked in a we always did the curly. So
Do you think they taste different?
I think it does a little bit. So okay.
Should I put all of it in or no?
Right. All of it in will be
Okay,
good. All of it will be good. And then we'll probably need, so for this one, again, so I tried, when Michelle asked me about the recipe, I usually eyeball this a lot. So I'm looking at this, I would probably add another quarter of an onion.
All right.
So, wait, nope.
Whoop!
We're not using that one. We're going to use, so that's almost a half. Let's do this.
On this, over here, sweetheart. Right over here.
Let me get it.
And we're not adding any liquid to this. The onion actually will probably become the liquid. I'm anticipating.
Right.
Right?
So
And we
you
have
really
all-
don't have to. If you have to, that's why I think my mom, when she did it, she would just put it all in one spot. Put the meat in there. Put the and all the vegetables. So we're gonna try to run that, get that into almost close to a puree. And then we're gonna take it, put it in the meat, and then use our
We're gonna get our hands dirty.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so I'm gonna put this.
Do you have a bowl?
There we go.
Do you have a bowl?
So now,
Just need a bowl that you can use to put ice water in.
There you go.
push that down
There you
as
go.
we go. So I'm gonna speed up this. This is one of my favorite tools. It's just not cooperating, it's keep cooperating. Yeah.
Do you want the ice water?
Here we go. It just takes a little bit to get. All the benefits, the health benefits of parsley are unbelievable. They're so good for your blood, and you can see where that really reduced.
Yeah.
In the Vitamix. I mean, that's a lot different.
Okay, so we're getting kind of close here. You see, we don't want huge chunks of, so this is about it. Let's go ahead and stop that.
Yep.
Let me show you what it's going to look like here.
It gets pretty strong, this thing.
Hang on,
Yep.
hold on. So it should look something like that.
So good.
I can smell it from over here.
Oh,
Right, so then we're going to, let's see if we can get
Spatula?
a spatula.
Right here.
Let's see. Okay, so let's do this. So we're going to
Oh.
put all of this in here. So now, again, if you see, while you're doing this, if you see big chunks of onions in here, just go ahead and take them out. If you leave them in there, it's not going to be a big deal. Not going to be a big deal.
no, those sulfuric vegetables are also good for you. So come on.
There we go. So we're done there.
All right.
And then,
I've never used Vitamix for parsley before. I'm
Right.
so excited about
so I'm
this.
going to wash my hands real quick. And then you're just going to use your hands, mix it as best as you can, get everything integrated in there.
And a thing that you can do too to keep the meat off your hands is you can get a bowl and put ice and water in it and put your hands in it so that way when you're mixing the meat it won't stick to your hands.
Ah, wait,
That's,
what?
That's a mom special.
I like that trick. No. You need to start that over.
So basically what you'll do is you'll just take a bowl and put about like half of it
Like
with
a bowl
ice.
like this is fine.
A bowl like that is fine.
Okay.
So you'll put half of it with ice and half of it with water.
Okay.
And you'll dip your hands in it, and
We're
then you'll
gonna-
mix the
we're gonna
meat
mix
so
it.
that way
There you
you
go.
can. Then you can touch the meat so that way it won't stick to your hands.
You want to mix it up, Layla?
I can.
I'll get some ice for you.
So because it's cold water, it doesn't stick to your
It
hand.
won't
I mean,
stick to
how
your
many
hands.
times, like even making meatballs,
I mean-
like this
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
this is a
Granted,
thing.
it will still stick
Oh,
to
you
your
heard it
hand,
here
but
first.
not nearly as bad.
Yeah.
And
I
I would have
like
thought
that.
warm water, but you know what? I'm gonna give this a try.
Yeah, not your show, Michelle.
It's really not. Back it down. All right.
So yeah, you'll just go. You can dip depending on where you're using, just like that.
Oh,
And then just swish it in. There you go.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
So just get it really nice and in there,
Oh,
as much
that's
as you
great.
can. Get it all
That's
integrated.
great.
Yep.
Yeah.
And when you're mixing, if you see little chunks of onion like this, I don't know if you can see it, you can just go ahead and take that out. Or stem with parsley too, because when you're chewing on a piece of meat and it's not exactly appetizing to get stem with parsley.
So I know years ago, Carson used to help out with, he used to help Chef Austin at, it used to be called Hubble and Hudson Bistro at the time. It's now called Tris. It's in the Woodlands. And Carson's job was to literally pick these leaves off the stem of the parsley.
Oh, wow.
So we sometimes cook with cilantro stems, you know, or, but a lot of times, I mean, dicing them up, I agree with you. You don't want to be like, you feel a little bit like a cow eating some grass, right?
Layla, that was a fun fact. Virtual dinner party, didn't know that.
About the water.
About the ice water. I think that's so
Learn
cool.
something new every day. That's
I mean,
what
you
makes it
just
fun.
educated someone from a different country.
Right?
Yeah.
And listen, if anyone, I mean, I know that flight's kind of locked down right now, but all you Canadian friends of mine, get on a flight, come on.
Oh,
come
for
join me,
sure.
come cook with me.
Oh,
Ben,
Canada. Oh,
Meredith's
Canada.
brother Ben, he's supposed to be coming and joining me. I
Yes.
think Carter's mom. I think we should sign her up for next week. What do y'all think?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
We're going to ask her what she wants to make. We'll let her pick. We'll let
Yes,
her
yes.
So you can see here, I don't know if you can see that, but I mean, slowly but surely it's starting to come together. And when the meat starts to stick to your hands again, it's okay. You could just dip your hands back in the ice water.
My goodness,
I mean,
Layla.
that's-
This is a great tip. This is awesome. Bella, are you learning?
Yeah.
You make the
Sure.
Hey, can y'all smell the potatoes and the eggplant?
So see,
This
you
smells
can
so
see it's
good.
Starting to get there.
I can smell the
We've got
parsley,
little
though.
Chunks of onion, but everything's starting to get somewhat incorporated. It does take a little while to get it all mixed in.
Well, if
but
the so-called chef had like a food processor, maybe we wouldn't be in this dilemma, right?
Next
I mean,
time.
Okay,
come on.
so if you had the food processor, you would have put the meat in there with it.
Right. And
Okay.
I usually
I
like to
thought
do
you
a
said
pound
that,
at a
and I
time.
was like, wow,
Yeah.
I'm going to be
Yeah.
impressed to get all of that in
Yeah.
the Vitamix.
I know, and I didn't think to put raw meat in a food.
But-
I'd never have
And so
done
again,
that.
you could probably go half of that and mix it in there really good. So it just
And then
gets
kind of
really
mix it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Layla's doing a great job.
I'm
She's doing a great job.
She's awesome. So,
So-
I'm gonna look for a little. We're going to. I would pan that we're using. I'm using this little Pampered Chef stoneware. However, 9 by 13 is what you said.
9 by
9 by
11,
11,
yeah,
9 by
yeah,
13
yeah.
pan. This is pretty good, but I'm gonna go ahead and just grease the bottom of it anyways. It would always, of course, depend on the meat that you were using. A less fatty meat won't give as much grease. So I'm gonna just grease the bottom with a little bit of olive oil. It's my favorite thing, olive oil.
And Sam, just real quick, we had a question. In the Vitamix was just the onion, the parsley. Was
Yep.
there any other seasonings in there?
Nope, that was it.
Okay.
That was it. We
There-
added the salt and pepper.
The salt and pepper went to the meat, so that
Yeah.
was just onion
That
and
was it.
parsley. Okay.
Yep, yep.
They did say that you
Yeah.
could put the salt and pepper in there if you
Okay.
like. I'll be honest though, the onion, the moisture in the onion and the moisture in the parsley, it was great that it came together like
Okay.
that.
Let it keep cooking.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
So your
Let it keep
potatoes will be in right now. Your meat should look like this once you're done mixing, whether you use a food processor or just your hands. You can see the little bits of green are all incorporated into the meat. And then you'll just take it and put it
Yep.
on the bottom of your
There you
hand
go.
and just kind of use your
Press it
hands
like
to-
you're making a pizza dough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
just
just
want
gotta
it
get
all
it.
covered, so it's almost like your crust to your pie, and then you
Oh
add all
my
your other ingredients
goodness.
on top.
There you go.
You know, the Irishmen are going, you forgot the dough.
So yeah,
That
just
looks
try to get it
amazing.
nice and even all the way around.
Yeah, so I guess if you don't have it even, it won't cook even.
Right,
You know,
right.
so yeah,
Yeah.
that's wonderful. This is, well, it already smells good. I mean, what I like about that much parsley, people might be thinking that's a lot of parsley. But you know what? What I like about that is that it's very alkalizing. And meat can be acidic, no matter how the quality of the meat, just on that sliding scale. And they kind of neutralize each other. I don't know if you guys were looking at the ingredient list, but one of the dressing ingredients was 6 cloves of garlic. People are like, whoa, it's a lot of garlic.
Oh, but
Another
I love
fun fact
garlic.
about parsley is that it neutralizes garlic. So
Let me jump in here real quick, guys, before you do this. So I don't know if you guys want to get a shot of this real quick.
let's remove the
so-
empty bowl, sweetie. Will you grab
Yeah,
that?
yeah, you're good. So this right here is called kefta, right? So the neat thing about this
Kefta.
is you got two dishes in one. If you want to make another batch, what we normally do, it's actually one of my favorite dishes too, is this, you could, of course we're going to show you, we're going to put it in the oven, but also you could take the same meat with, with the parsley and the onions and all that good stuff, and you could actually, I'm just going to show you what it looks like, so you can go and make them into these like round sausage kind of like,
Like a finger shape.
Meatballs.
Well, it's not
Yeah,
so
like
much
a finger shape.
Yeah, exactly.
For lack of better words.
And you can go ahead and grill those, and they taste excellent. So you can do this shape, or
Oh, I'd eat that.
you can, and however big you want, and you can do them, or you can do them this shape. And again, you grill them, a couple minutes on each side, 2 or 3 minutes on each side, and they're going to come out excellent. You can take those, eat them, as a like a grilled meat. Also use it with baba ganoush as a dip. It'll come out excellent. So
Oh,
just
wow.
thought like if you're going to do that, you could. There's another kind of recipe that you can make. Basically, instead of baking it in the pan with the tomatoes and potatoes, you can take that and grill it.
It's like a
on the
Mediterranean meatball, pretty much.
Mediterranean meatball. There we go.
Mediterranean meatball. So with the meatballs, would you grill them or would
Better grill.
Oh yeah.
Because you get that
Grill
charred
meat.
flavor.
Wow, that looks. We can put that right up on the cutting board now. We'll take away this.
So here's how it's going to look.
And when it's cooked too, it won't be as much green because the parsley will obviously cook down. So
Parsley cooks down, and then also we we may have a little shrinkage,
Yes.
right? George Costanza.
That's going to definitely. So you see this is what you said, a 9 by 11 or not?
Okay. Maybe a 9
So
by
what
13.
will happen is you'll get about a 20 to 25%. It'll shrink up a little bit.
Maybe
And
easier
that's
to cut out too,
Yep,
right?
yep.
After
And
you cut this in squares.
you can cut it in squares. Yep.
Wow.
So now my sister-in-law, she said what she normally does is she'll make them little patties and just put them throughout.
Oh.
So that way
then
you just take the pat
oh.
exactly. So it's already kind of pre-cut. But I grew up, my mom making it this way, so this is how I know to do that.
Well, and so far, I mean, there are a lot of people out there that are avoiding gluten, avoiding grain, American grain specifically. So this doesn't have any of that in it.
Nope.
You know,
Nope.
a lot of meat recipes are full of
Right.
breadcrumb, etc.
Right,
So.
right. And if you're trying to stay away from starches or anything like that, and you don't want any potatoes, you could, just do the tomatoes.
I know it's sacrilege, but you could do a butternut squash, you could do a turnip,
Right,
you could
right,
change it up, you could
right.
change your
However
vegetable out.
exactly,
But it's not
exactly.
going to be, I mean, some of this stuff is cultural and it's the way your mom or your dad
Exactly,
made, and
exactly.
so it doesn't taste the
Right,
same, you know?
Right.
So, awesome. All right, let's check on
I'm
these
gonna go ahead and wash my
potatoes.
hands.
Oh, yay!
And I don't know if you can see the eggplant too, but it's starting to get a little roasted. You can see the skin starting to turn a little darker. And so the potatoes are cooking. They'll probably need another 5 minutes. You don't want them like golden brown, but you want to be able to kind of see through the potato and it not be as...
So we may be able to grab a fork and just see it.
Yeah.
Should a fork go through them? Let's
They
see.
don't. Yeah, I mean they don't have to be cooked all the way because remember when we get ready to put them in the pan and cook them, they're going to be cooking for about 30 minutes or so. So
You
if
just want to be able to touch it and it not be super hard. So like, you want to be able to go through it, but with a little bit of force. Because it'll get cooked again. The goal of cooking it the first time is to make sure that it's not, when you put it in the pan and you're cooking it with the meat, that you don't, cut it into the potato and bite it and it tastes
I don't know
like a
very
chip.
many recipes with raw potato.
Yeah.
that would not be good.
That would not be
No,
very good.
no, after all that,
No,
right?
okay.
You wanna take
So
it-
then we'll go ahead as we're going to let those cook just a little bit longer.
Okay.
And then we're going to let that eggplant probably roast up a little bit more.
Okay.
What we can do is we can get started. Now, you guys can go ahead and start cutting the slices of tomatoes.
Okay.
And then if we want to add onions in there, we can go ahead and do that.
Do you have a serrated knife, girls? I'll get.
There's one here.
Okay, let me get another one for you.
So the tomatoes, you just want to cut them the same thickness that you did the potatoes, roughly, not too thin, but a little thick. Because the tomatoes too will shrink down a little bit.
This is.
There you go.
So would it matter what kind of tomato you're using? Could you use like a Roma tomato? I mean,
That's
there's
a great question.
lots of
I
different
didn't
kinds of tomatoes.
I didn't ask.
So
Yeah, I got
I guess
these.
these are called slicing tomatoes.
Yes, they
Yes, slicing tomatoes. That's
Like
the
a
way you wanna go.
like a greenhouse tomato,
Right,
or
right.
okay.
And they
Absolutely.
were
Something a little
tomatoes
bigger?
on the line, I
Not
think
yet.
they were
Okay,
called.
Not yet.
perfect.
Go ahead and
All
slice
right.
them. Don't put them in there because we want to put the potatoes first, and then you could we could do thin sliced onions too on top of that if you
Yes.
really like that. But remember, you don't want to go too much onions because remember you have onions in the meat, so you don't want it too much.
You're going to do these onions, yes?
Those are going to go into the fattouche.
Oh, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So we're going to cut onions again for this?
If you want to.
I would love that.
If you want to.
Yeah.
Again, it
Yeah.
depends on how much.
Always more onion.
Exactly, almost more.
What is
onion.
it that you
Always
say,
more
Mrs.
garlic.
Keys? Cooking has boundaries but no limits or something?
Yeah.
Oh,
Rules,
but-
parameters, no rules.
Yes. Yes.
Right? Like I say, I mean, this is far from Irish dish.
No. So usually, no, that's gonna be. I think if you guys cut all this, that should be plenty for that.
Yeah.
That should be plenty for
And
that.
then for the fattouche, should we sell it?
Well, the
Okay, so
we're
and if
gonna
you're-
dice, we could do this or that and just
Yeah,
dice
we
them.
have a couple more tomatoes and we have the small tomatoes too.
Okay.
So, and here's some, if you want to, Isabella, if you want to cut some, slice that.
Yep. You can
Go.
slice it thin.
Maybe grab
It's all
you
gonna
guys a
get
pair of goggles.
I know, right?
I love it.
Check on the potatoes. Let's go ahead and take those out.
Okay, so if you are going to add onions, would you add it on top of the meat or do you do it on top of the tomatoes?
So I like to do, so typically, so again, I'll go back to what my mom's recipe is. It's going to be that, potatoes, onions, and then
The tomato.
sauce.
Oh,
Tomato
okay.
sauce. A little bit of tomato
Yes.
sauce. And that's
I
it.
am so excited about
That's
this.
it.
So I just, when he asked me to get tomato sauce, I just got my regular, the cartons. I got 2 cartons, or I could use a jar of, this one's called organic tomato puree. So, and Sam did say if you don't have either one of those, you could always mix a little bit of tomato paste in water.
Yep.
And
that could
then
be-
drizzle it on top.
Yep.
So I think it's just a little added moisture.
Right. Right.
Yeah, it's
And
like a
this is going to have lots and lots of moisture. By the time you get it out, it's going to have a lot of fluid in there, a lot of liquid, and so you could take that liquid, and that always goes good on like a side of a rice dish. So you could actually serve this with rice.
That'd be great.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So the potatoes look like they're ready.
Okay.
So they're
Okay.
big cuts.
So I think that I got these for Fatouche.
Yeah,
I
that's
might have
fine.
misunderstood.
No,
so
that's
can we
fine.
just cut them in half?
Absolutely.
Okay, we'll cut these in half.
You just want to cut them bite size. So if you have, I mean, it's not a big deal if you get Roma tomatoes or these kind of tomatoes or these kind of tomatoes, just tomatoes, whatever
Okay,
one you like.
okay.
Right?
That's awesome.
Okay, and so what are the girls doing over there?
So right now we finished our potatoes, and as you can see, it's kind of covered.
If you're gonna put onions, sorry, if you're gonna put onions, I would put the onions between the tomatoes and the,
Okay.
so you don't want to get them too burnt. And I wouldn't put a whole
I mean,
lot
it's
of
your
onions
show,
'cause
Sam.
We did put quite a bit of onions.
You can see that we put a lot of onions earlier in the meat. Right now the potatoes fully covering the meat, but for the onions you can just kind of stagger them.
So you're not gonna do a full cover like the potato.
No.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, and I'll tell you what, my dad makes these amazing baked potatoes. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Hopefully,
Aw.
I know they're chiming in
I
as
love
well
it.
as my sweet nephews
Yes.
and my sister. But he does a baked potato and he cuts it down the middle and then kind of scores on an angle and opens it a bit. And he shoves onion, butter, salt, and pepper, rolls them back up and puts them on the
Oh.
grill. Those are my favorite baked. I mean, the double stuff and all that. They've got nothing.
I
on
love
those.
it. I think
don't
one
know.
of these weeks you need to do a grilling show.
I think that'd be great.
I think so.
We've got to talk to the producer. See if
Yeah,
we can
for sure.
Can we take this outside? So okay, we and you've got look at guys. Check the bowl
That
out
looks
we are
so good.
using.
Okay.
For Fatouche.
When you make a
I mean-
salad, you gotta make it big.
Wow.
Go
I
big or
mean,
go home.
Right. I mean, these are my kind of people.
Yeah.
Big, he's like, I didn't think you had a big enough bowl. Clearly, I didn't.
Yeah,
I mean,
clearly.
we might have been able to use this.
Did you-
No, actually,
I love that we're putting
Yeah.
them together.
Yeah.
What you need, Layla?
You have radishes.
I do. I have radishes. I bought radishes. Let me find them.
Were they on the
They were on the
list?
shopping list.
Radishes?
They absolutely were.
This is the first thing that my dad taught me how to cut was radishes.
I hate cutting radishes.
Aw.
He doesn't like cutting radishes, so he pinned it on me.
Yep.
So I was not a big radish fan, and then a couple years ago I started to put them in my salad because I wanted.
Oh, those
we
are
did-
beautiful radishes.
They really are. They're so nice, and we don't need the tops.
You don't need
correct?
the top,
Okay.
all you need is the actual.
I'm just gonna-
You'll cut off the ends.
Yeah. I'll pop these off. I'm washing them. I love to see all this dirt coming off because then I know it was like
Right,
real food,
it's
you know?
real,
Real
yes.
food, real food wraps. You slice. Are you going to quarter them or are you going to slice them? The radishes.
I mean, it really depends on your preference.
Yeah.
I'm gonna quarter them because that's how I like it.
Okay.
So.
It's your show.
But you can.
That's right. I mean, teach us how to go Lebanese. Let me
But
tell
also,
you.
some people, like, I know my dad sometimes will do just thin slices or thick slices. It really doesn't matter as long as you get it in the salad.
So, and I'm taking it that these things that are going in this salad are they natively grown in Lebanon?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, all this iceberg. There's the romaine, and there's another green leafy vegetable. You know what they call it? Oh man, I'll figure it out. And I'll let you guys know. We'll put it in the post show
Yes,
notes.
post show
or whatever.
notes. Sure.
But
We're gonna, and the other thing is we're gonna put the recipes there, either on the Facebook or Instagram, because he's cooking off his cuff,
For sure,
which
yes.
I love, and that's kind of how I cook. But I'm learning that I don't know that I would know how to do this again.
Right.
Another recipe. I guess I need ingredients more than I need measurements. I just need to know what's in it.
Right. Well, a good cook knows what to do with the ingredients.
Yeah, but ask me to bake something, and boy, we're in trouble.
All right, so we have the lettuce. I usually would like to cook, that's kind of your base, and then
Okay.
we'll start, Layla we'll show you guys, we'll start to put all the different things that we're cutting on the
Okay.
side, so it just kind of looks really
And
nice.
he likes to alternate to make it look fancy. He'll
Yes.
do one red and then one green and then one red and then
I
one
love
green.
that.
So it's
I love it. So should I cut these cucumbers down the middle and then like this?
Nope, just slice it.
Just like this.
Yep.
Okay, we're not
Yep.
cutting, we're not quartering. We're gonna cut.
So I don't know if you want to do it here or however you
Yeah, I
want.
think I'll do that. I'll move
I'll
it
check on the
there.
eggplant,
And
because that should be close to being done.
so different cultures, they'll have salad. Some of them have it at the beginning of a meal. Some cultures, I almost messed that up. Some cultures have it at the end of a meal. when I was growing up, we always had our salad last. We'd eat a huge pasta dinner and then be like, oh, I'm so full. And then you had some salad and you're ready to go for dessert. I mean, just
wow.
Now, I like to start my dinner sometimes with a really fresh and colorful salad. So I always say that you eat with your eyes first.
Yeah.
So it's all colorful with the red and the green. Oh, check these.
So by now you want to go ahead and
wow.
take out the eggplants. They're pretty
show
much
you.
done. Yeah, I don't know if you want to
I'm
take
gonna
a
click
close-up
over
shot.
here if you can get this, guys.
And so they're
Okay.
pretty, like if I touch them,
Wow.
they're, I
They
mean, you can see how
smell-
they're already compressed.
They kind of
Or-
collapsed on
yeah,
us a little
yeah.
bit.
Okay, so that was around 35, 40 minutes?
Right? And then what you'll do is you're going to let them cool because then they'll be you'll easily peel them. And we're going to peel them, and then there's going to be some seeds in there you're going to take out, and then that's what we're going to use to put in the Vitamix to mix it with the tahini and all that good
And
stuff.
Okay.
ultimately, it will all get blended. So if you don't get every little seed.
Okay, Sam, I need to pause for a second.
that's
So our
fine.
streaming is
Yes.
kind of cutting out. I don't know if it's our internet or something. So we have someone that's asked for just kind of a quick summary. So
Sure.
Amanda has, can we get a super quick summary? I've got meat mixture with potatoes, onions, and tomatoes on the top, and then it froze.
Right. Okay. So if you have it in the pan
Uh-huh.
and everything, so we're going to go ahead and put it in the pan.
Okay.
I mean, put it in the oven.
So your bottom layer was
There's
the meat
meat,
mixture that
right?
had the
We
parsley
grease the
and
pan,
onions.
though.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
We grease
We
our
grease the
pan.
pan. We put the meat, and then after that, we put in the potatoes, a layer of potatoes. You can go if you want to go 2 layers of potatoes. It's up to you. And then just a few onions, and then the tomatoes, the sliced tomatoes on top, and then a little bit of tomato puree or tomato sauce on the top of that. You take that, you put the aluminum foil on top, and then punch some few holes in there, and stick it in the oven at 400 to 425 for about 30 minutes.
So on the tomato puree, did y'all end up using 1 carton or 2 cartons?
We did not use, actually probably about, let me
A
see.
half of one, actually.
Yeah.
A half of one,
not
so
a whole
that
lot. So this is a
Half a
this
cup.
is
So
a
about-
17-ounce carton. We probably used a quarter of it.
okay.
So we didn't use a lot of.
About
Quarters of cup,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it was like a drizzle. She did a drizzle.
Okay, and that was the last thing on top, and then you did the foil, punched some holes, and then you put that in the oven, and that also cooks at 425?
425. Yeah.
For about
30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Yeah, we're going with
Okay.
30 minutes. I don't know if you've ever done this before, but when you put a paper towel over top of something with skin, the skin peels off easier.
Oh.
I do this with peppers all the time. I think it'll work with eggplant, but I guess
So do you try to pat it down, or you just
I
gently
just,
put it up
I
there?
just tarped it. Just
Oh,
tarped
wow.
it. Yeah.
And
Okay.
Sam, your brother's helping you along, wild
That's where he gets it. I think you only have to. You have.
and grew 345 different varieties of salad. She doesn't call them lettuce because lettuce.
300 and
Wow.
345 different varieties of salad, which iceberg would be, and so she doesn't call it lettuce. The lettuce is wrong.
Yeah, she calls it
But she provided, all of these salads to different Michelin chefs around the
yeah.
London
Well,
area. I
that's-
know, it's pretty
so
cool.
I didn't know about the layering.
So yeah, you just
So-
take these, and then.
And then you'll have your reds next to it. So.
I see you guys are doing clumps for the presentation. I love that.
And for your
All about
radishes,
presentation.
You don't want them too big because you're gonna be taking bites of it. So I
So-
mean, you can see I have 2 different sizes here. Nothing too much
I'm
bigger.
gonna try this though. Would you say they're bitter, radish?
Sometimes they can be. Yeah, it has a little bit of a bitterness to it, but along with everything else,
No.
it's not gonna overpower it.
And
Yeah.
my mother-in-law and father-in-law, they grow radish, and theirs were spicy.
Mhm.
There was some spicy
is.
radish.
Yeah.
So
But
typically-
actually, how good they were?
Spicy, yeah.
So if you guys see this, typically
This is a
for
little
me,
bit
I would say this is probably. I would tell you guys to go ahead and cut them a little thinner,
Smaller, yeah.
just so that way if you get it, because you don't want it to be a little bit too spicy for you if you're not used to radishes, which I am. So you can get a little bit thinner slice.
Check that
Okay.
out. Look at this. It
Good.
lifted the skin. You see?
Oh, see, I'm.
It lifted up.
Okay.
So I removed the paper towel,
Alright.
and the flesh is just below.
Got it. So
So-
you can go ahead and take this, and so all we're doing is just you're taking this off. Remember,
I'm gonna try that again because that side came off so much easier. There we go.
so they should come off that easy. If not, you probably want to stick it back in the.
Interesting color though. I mean, it's a little bit almost green on the inside.
You could just do these and just cut them in half like that. And then I'll show you how to do the parsley. There you go.
I know how to do
There we go.
Carson. So we're not using the top on this.
Yeah, so you take the top off, and then what we're gonna do, there you go.
You want to take those out?
So typically what you're gonna have to do, so there's a little bit of, maybe a little bit of finessing in here, but I usually will just, as much as you can. So we'll take
See, this is twice we've removed the seeds. Something I've never done, right? It's just interesting.
so
Yeah.
There's really not much seeds here.
That
so
one
you
doesn't
can-
have very
yeah,
much at all.
Yeah. So you see that right there, that's what you're really wanting to take off. So there you go. So this is pretty much,
See, that was stuck. I
Yeah.
put this little thing on there and moved it.
so this is pretty much ready to go, so we can go ahead and put that in our
Vitamix?
Vitamix. So let's do this. Let's get this right here. Put that in there.
And so you're removing the seeds and the skin.
Yes.
Okay. And
Correct.
even though one of those eggplants kind of looked a little bit more sunken than the other, they're both ready to go.
They
They're
both
both
are.
ready to go. You can
Okay.
tell, like, once you're using it, I mean, it is cooked. So
Okay.
Here you go, guys. If
That's
you wanna
got a
take
lot
look
more
at this-
seeds. This one has a
Okay.
lot more seeds in here.
So let me show you all this. So that's the stuff that you're trying to take out, right? This is the stuff. So you're
Comes
gonna.
out very easily.
Yep. So you're just kind of scraping it off.
Scrapes it
It
off.
doesn't have to be every single one, but you're just trying to take as many as you can, okay?
That's great.
So again, we're gonna do this. And you're just trying to.
Oh my gosh. Do y'all
scrape
not
as
eat
much
this
as you
every day,
can
Layla?
off of this.
I would.
There you go.
This is just the brink of it too. There's so much that.
She's like, this is the tip of the, we
So are these your favorite Lebanese
Some people will
recipes?
remove the whole
They're
thing
not.
My favorite ones take a long time to cook.
So what is your favorite one? I'm just curious.
That's what we were
People
talking-
can Google
There's
it. What
this
is
meat
it?
dish that I
There
grew
you
up
go.
having. It's called. I can never say it right. Dad, you
What is it?
Give me.
Kibbe.
Give me.
I'm sorry. It's Sam. Say it again.
Kibbe.
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 Kibbe. Kibbe.
No.
It's his intonation.
No. Right. I got it. Okay.
So I can't say it because I don't have the accent, but basically it's almost like a meat. I don't want to say pie because it sounds disgusting, but it's like
I'd eat a meat pie.
it's.
That does not sound meat good.
Grossed out by that, but it's a layer of ground beef with bulgur, which is like a cracked wheat.
Yes.
And
Okay.
Then, the filling is ground beef, pine nuts, onions, and a bunch of
Filling.
spices.
Oh,
The
pine
filling
nuts.
is
I love
Die
anything
for.
with pine
So my mom, when
nuts.
we used to make it, she literally had to like shoo us out of the kitchen because in we come in and out of the
Oh,
kitchen
right.
eating
Yes.
the stuffing because it is too die. You can just eat the stuffing on. So she used to have to make extra, knowing that her 3 boys would
Are
have to
gonna
come
come,
in
yeah.
and eat it. Yeah.
I mean-
so that's my favorite dish. You just have the 2 layers. It's just meat on top of meat, and it takes a long time to cook, but it's.
I
So, like,
love
you say
this
long
so
time,
much.
Like hours or?
Well, you have to.
Make sure we don't
So
get
the base of the meat, you have to let it sit in the fridge for about an hour, I think.
Oh,
so,
I see.
Oh my
I see.
goodness.
So you have to let certain components, but it would take longer than we have today.
I know, and so that was
I was trying to get Dad to let it
Come on, do
When
it.
my mother-in-law
That would be one of
was
those
here-
shows where you pull it out of the oven and it's ready.
We were
Yeah.
talking about the pierogies, remember Meredith?
Yes.
And you were like, that'd be fun, and we were like, except
Yeah,
it
but
takes
it takes
all
a
day.
while.
Yeah.
I know.
So
We're gonna
so-
add to.
right.
This is our base eggplant.
So that's the eggplant.
Okay, so
for
if
Russia-
that's the eggplant, sorry,
For
Right.
Baba
is
ganoush.
there a replacement for the eggplant?
The only thing would be the chicken.
One of the viewers said the stores were out.
Really?
I agree. I took
Was
me
it
2
hard to
stores. It was
find?
very. I
Right.
agree with you. It was
Right.
very hard to find eggplants.
So, you know,
this
I've
week.
seen-
I don't know why,
But
but
you see all these different hummuses, right? And
Right,
so,
for
you
sure.
have black bean hummus. You have all these different things. If you want to make baba ganoush is
Eggplant.
Eggplant.
Okay.
That's it. So now, like you said, you can make different hummuses with different beans, or if you want to do
course.
Yeah.
peppers or
you could do
whatever, but-
chickpeas. I'm sure.
So we're
most
not going to
people
say
have-
it was a bad question, but if you're
Right.
making baba ganoush, you
Right.
need eggplant.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
Go back
if
to
you
the
made-
store.
If you use chickpeas, then you'd be calling it hummus.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
But yes, there's substitutions. You just have
Right.
to call it something else.
Okay, perfect.
Right. Okay. So for this, what we're gonna probably go ahead and do is, for that much, we're probably gonna use about a half a cup of tahini. So
Teeny.
yeah.
Teeny.
So let me go ahead and get that
I-
from you.
Drop the A, roll the H.
You don't roll the A.
That's the best way to describe it.
The thing I love about this so much is I think, especially during COVID, people are tired of cooking the same meals, and this is all new and fresh.
And
Except for
really,
probably
gosh,
Trankina.
I
She's
mean,
probably making it.
These recipes.
Trankina.
This recipe. When I saw
She
the
loves
lemon
baba
So
ganoush.
juice
we're going
and-
half a cup here.
Here we go.
I love those measuring cups. Every week I love them.
If you didn't have tahini, you could put sesame seeds in a food processor or Vitamix and just keep going until it is a paste. You can even add
nothing else. No olive oil, no salt.
If it gets dry, you may be able to add a little bit. I would use olive oil.
Right. So it shouldn't get dry here on you. So what you can do, because there's a lot of moisture in that eggplant. So right now we could do some salt, garlic, and lemon.
How much garlic are we going to use?
Let's just go ahead with 3 cloves.
3? Yeah.
All right. So salt. Let's see. Is that 2 pinches?
I know, right? 2
pinches.
We say a 2-finger pinch, a 3-finger pinch.
That was a 3-finger
Or
pinch.
would we say a quarter of a teaspoon?
Right, we could say that too if we actually measured it. My grandfather taught me how to cook with a palm full of salt. I had a sweet friend that was like, seriously, give me your hand. Let me measure what this means.
Let me get at least a
measure what that
ballpark.
actually means.
Then we're gonna also put some lemon.
Oh.
So you can use lemons from
Fresh lemons.
fresh lemons. There's a very common name brand. It's called Real Lemon. However, this one is Italian volcano lemon juice, which I got, and it's way better. It's fresh lemon juice. Doesn't taste like quote unquote real lemon.
Yes.
So this is.
So that's 2 cloves. Yeah, I like mine garlicky.
Yeah, we'll do one more.
So
Yeah, your recipe online says 3 cloves.
Yep.
Okay.
We're gonna stick to it. We're
Okay.
gonna stick to it.
And again, sometimes to taste as you make it, and if you feel like, you know what, just add a little bit more garlic or a little bit more salt, it's really to taste.
And lemonade.
My mom's hand was heavy on the salt, so we grew up that way. So yeah.
What was the thing you once said when we didn't have garlic in the house? I love this anecdote.
I said something to the effect, this is a Lebanese home, we should never ever be out of garlic.
What?
So.
Yes. I mean, if I'm running out of olive oil or eggs in my home, I'm in a crisis.
So I would say for measurement's sake, Meredith, this is probably going to be about a tablespoon or so.
Okay.
So maybe a little bit more.
Okay.
2 tablespoons, maybe.
There
What
you
does
go.
this recipe say?
It's at a quarter of a cup.
Oh.
Yeah, which is 3 tablespoons.
Okay.
This is not as big as an eggplant that we have. So,
Those, and I was going to comment on that earlier. They seem smaller than some of the eggplants I
normally
see.
they're about the ones that we usually get at the grocery store. They're a little bit bigger.
Okay, so I love that because your ingredients here are a little bit more than what you've been doing, but it's because they were a little smaller
And again,
eggplants.
it's really kind of, as you do it, you just kind of eyeball it and just kind of go from there.
Okay.
All right, so everything is ready in here. So we have 2 eggplants. We have a 1/2 cup of tahini. We have 3 cloves of garlic. We have lemon juice.
Yeah.
About 2 tablespoons for this one. And what am I? Oh, salt.
Salt.
So we have about
Where's our
2 pinches, we said about a couple of teaspoons. of
That's
salt.
yeah. You said
Right.
2 to 3 on here,
Yeah,
but that was
2
for the
to-
larger.
Yeah. So now we will just go ahead and put that on a processor, cover it, run it, and get it nice and pureed. Is this we're gonna use this one. I think we should use this
It's your show. You can do whatever you want. It's your show.
You need a spoon.
Oh my goodness, that looks so good.
It's a lot smoother than my recipe that I've used in the past.
And eggplant is it's a lot of protein, isn't it?
Here's it there. You just get it nice and so.
Oh, it's still warm.
Oh, it's going to be so good.
So a couple of things, guys, I want to show you here. I'm going to go over here and pour it for you guys. So you don't want it to be super runny, but you don't want it to be super hard. Sometimes you'll have to strain. If it's really runny, sometimes you'll have to strain the eggplant.
Okay.
But this looks just about right.
I mean, that looks
That's
perfect.
beautiful. And you
See
know,
from here, you can take a little bit of parsley, chop it up, and garnish it.
I like that.
You can.
You just drop 2 or 3 of
There you
these
go.
on top.
So let's get some fresh things here.
I mean, could you also refer to this as your smoke and mirrors?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
The
so
garnishes,
my
yes,
mom
smoke-
texted
she
after
just-
last week. She's like, I don't understand what that means.
So smoke and mirrors is like, if you get a little bit of smoke over here, but then you're surrounded by mirrors, it looks like a lot of smoke. So it's just a little bam factor.
Right.
Little bam factor. That was Emerald Lagasse, right?
Yeah. So a lot of times, to dress it up, you could do, like if you want a little bit of red on there, so this would look, let's do this. I'm gonna here. I'm just gonna
So good.
just try to chop this really fine.
And so if I was going to get real fancy, I'm going to tell you what I would do, okay? If I wanted to really impress someone and be really smoke and mirrors, I would take some of these olives. They are pitted Kalamatas. I would put them in the Vitamix and puree and put it in a squirt bottle and just,
Okay,
you know.
that's smoke
That
and mirrors. When do we get to eat it?
That is absolutely delicious.
All right. So then, so we can leave it like that, and then usually you want to take a little bit of like smoked paprika, and then just.
but not the sumac.
No, you can do sumac. Oh, that's actually good.
Okay.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
talk about this. Let's talk about this
All right.
spice. I want to talk about this.
So this spice, so it's a from a bush, the sumac bush.
I heard it was a red berry.
It's
That's
a
what
red berry.
I looked up.
It's red. It's gonna, when you smell it, it has kind of a lemony, earthy, smoky kind of taste and flavor. So this goes on a lot of different things. You're right. So you can do it on hummus. You can do it on baba ganoush. We're definitely gonna put it in the fattoush. Yeah.
So it's funny because Sam's from Lebanon. I've never heard of this spice ever, but I wanted to familiarize myself. And I'm always like, no. And now I'm like, I really want to eat that.
That looks
So-
good. So yes, that's the way it looks.
Here.
Is that what you're doing?
You just want to clean
the
it.
excuse
She's
there.
tidying. I see.
So I'll put this, I don't know if you guys want to capture it above or over here. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
All right. And then, so
Wonderful.
now we're on the kefta. We're into about 30 minutes. It's been about, I think we put it in at 251.
But we still have to make the dressing, correct?
Okay, oh yes.
And we
So
gotta
we
cut
have,
up the parsley.
okay, let's do that. So let's put that to the side. Okay, let me show you how to do
Okay.
your parsley. So parsley. So I don't know if you guys can
Oh
see
my
this.
word.
Usually
You need to put that on the other side.
You want to get all the
Do
tops.
not wash this. Like
So
you.
you
No,
wanna
that's
get
like-
basically-
that's
you
liquid
wanna cut
gold.
Right
I
about
think
here.
this is going to be a standard protocol in my
This
house.
is
I'm ready to go home and make
way.
some.
So obviously,
Now that I'm not scared of
I'm gonna
eggplant.
make sure there isn't anything in here that you don't want.
Okay.
These are already been pre-washed.
Yep.
So
It
you're
would be
gonna take
nice.
them,
I would not
and
complain.
this is
Okay, and then
this is how much.
Because
So
then
when
I'm
I
over
used
here
to
like.
chop, when I used to help my mom, she would always make me want to do this because I think she.
See, I love this. So you are a male, and you're saying when I used to help my mom, I'm a huge believer in everybody in my kitchen. My kids have heard me a million times. I'm like, are you going to eat? Then get in here.
Yeah.
Right? We're all going to cook. We're all going to eat.
One of the viewers earlier said you have lots of helpers in the kitchen. I'm like, absolutely.
All the time.
Right. And
You need a ride to soccer? I need some hot chocolate. I mean, this is a
Yes.
win-win. This is a win-win.
in that baba ganoush, you can taste the fresh garlic. I mean, that is, yes, that's incredible.
So, I wonder why in some recipes it calls for roasted garlic. Like when I made mine, I would probably I would dice the eggplant. I would not seed it. Now, I wasn't having a professional though. Like,
Right.
this is authentic, right?
This is
like, there's a
fantastic.
difference between, no offense, but Olive Garden and my father's kitchen. There's a huge
Right.
difference there. I never eat tomato sauce out unless it's with Chef Austin because his is really good. So anyways.
So I want to do just a little tip, and you know this. If you cook or work with parsley, you know that if you're gonna eat parsley, especially if it's fresh, you better cut it really tiny, or it's gonna get stuck in your throat.
Yes.
So for this one, you saw me already chop it once.
I'm gonna give you a tool though to check him out. Honestly,
Okay.
this is
so,
the spice cutter.
Right. So this is where I'm gonna go back
Oh.
and then just try to cut, and we're gonna keep going back and cutting. And I'm gonna show you once I'm done what it's supposed to look like.
This is one of the first things I taught my kids to master the cutting.
So I'm not
Well,
really good at
you
that.
don't
So
like that one?
here's what I usually like to do.
Okay.
I'll go back in through here.
Oh, the green onions, right? Yes. Let me wash those though. I just pulled those out of the fridge. They are not washed.
Those are beautiful green onions.
Aren't they?
And
Can you get my little disposal?
just for the people at home, I mean, would you ever put something like that in a food processor to?
The reason I wouldn't do that, because once you start to do the food process, unless you have like super sharp blade, you'll start to get a lot of liquid,
Okay.
which you don't want
Be mushy.
coming out of it. Yeah, it gets
Okay.
mushy. So unfortunately, you have to do some cutting, and some
right.
chopping. But hey, you know what? That's what
That is a
the kids
stress
are for.
reliever for me. Give me a knife and some fresh herbs. Oh, that
Okay,
sounds.
so I don't know if you guys want to get it close here. I'm about to.
Do you need another knife or you have one?
Okay.
Oh, I have to cut the tomatoes.
So,
Yeah. Oh, you did.
So I don't know if you want to
Okay.
see it close. This is what you want it to look like, right?
That's
It's
nice.
small pieces, so that way when they're eating it, it doesn't get stuck.
And
in
you
the
know
back of
what,
their throat.
though?
You
Okay.
definitely don't want to just
Oh gosh.
take it and just
No.
do it that way, right? You want it to be cut as thin as possible.
Yeah, and I like a thin like that, but also it's a different look. The curly is
Yeah.
a different look than
Yeah.
that flat.
Yeah.
Italian is a
Yeah.
lot of flat parsley. I really like the curly. I like the curly parsley. I like them both. I mean,
Right.
very rarely.
All right, so we'll take
Meat
that.
is spice I don't like.
So I think one bushel
I love
is
the
I know, it's
the
so pretty.
presentation of that. It's beautiful.
So,
And we're gonna can
Okay.
we use this bowl for the dressing? Is that a good thing to use, or what would you like? A jar?
so we're gonna use a jar.
A jar.
Because we're gonna shake it up. Once we're done, we're gonna shake it.
I have it, Isabella.
Oh, you have a
Yes.
Do you put this
I might need a lid
There's
though.
that.
Okay.
And
Do we put this in the
We also got mint too, so we could cut up the mint
Yes.
too.
now I.
do these onions then?
Yeah, so I would cut those a lot finer than that. Yep.
Maybe Layla, I'll give you this different knife to do this.
Tomatoes.
Guys are watering.
Are you kidding? I think that's strong.
All right, so Meredith kept us been about in there for about 30 minutes now.
Okay.
So we'll.
Should we check on it?
Yep,
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and check on it.
Wonderful.
Okay, so in the fattoush, you've got your romaine lettuce, your iceberg lettuce, you've done your parsley, that's what you just did.
Yes.
Okay, your cucumbers,
Yes.
tomatoes.
So I'm gonna put it on here so they can get a good shot of it.
I mean, it's
This is what
so
we're looking
pretty.
It's
Like
so
so far.
peppers, right? Don't we
Yes.
have
for. We can
peppers?
do, yep, we got peppers too that we could put in there.
Now, how would you cut a pepper? I got two different kinds of peppers. I got the little baby ones,
Right.
and then I got
Oh,
these,
I love those
these
things.
big
So
ones.
if you want to add some color, we could do some
Yes.
yellow ones.
Yeah.
So this is the way I usually do it.
We don't need a red one. We already have the tomato.
Right.
Kitchen
right?
sink.
Yes.
Kitchen sink.
Gosh,
Kitchen
this
sink.
bowl was almost full. We're emptying it out.
I know.
We're gonna feed it
All right, so I usually will cut here. Of course, you would
Okay.
go ahead and pour that.
Yeah.
So. and then I
Are you
would
gonna
go-
cry?
It's like water.
You need.
That's
colors.
okay. Izzy cried last week.
I
A
know, she
lot. She really did.
She
And then
was.
she would leave
How
and
do
then
you
she'd
want me
come
to
back.
control this? Just like just.
It's okay. Lock it up, Layla.
Okay. I know. I'm trying not to look at it.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with crying
Where's the
about this
goggles?
emotional thing.
Right.
The goggles. That
It's-
is, it works.
Do we have any?
I don't think I do.
All right, so we got all that, and then
I would.
we'll just try
I
to
would.
like-
Embarrass
I was
yourself.
enjoying watching you last week.
Embarrass yourself
Yes.
like your mama.
Such a pretty color, though.
Do you want an orange one too?
That means
You
they're
can
fresh,
orange
though.
one, yeah.
I think that's beautiful. So one ingredient that I noticed isn't, I do this for orange on my salad, is carrot. I noticed that's not in there. So,
By the way, I don't know if you know this. The bell peppers are known to be high in vitamin C,
absolutely.
and the highest content is found in the yellow pepper.
Oh.
I'm not a big green pepper person. I'm
No, I
not a
love-
big
yellow
I
is our
love-
favorite.
I love yellow. I love, that's interesting though. You'd think the orange had more vitamin C, right? Because
yeah.
of the,
When I looked it up, I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting.
it is interesting.
You're stereotyping an orange pepper right now.
I guess I
You
am.
are.
Now.
All
I'm
right.
ready to switch out.
So
Yeah.
while I'm
See,
doing this,
they're
I don't know if you
making
want to go ahead and
everyone's
check on the.
That's
You
adorable.
want to take a peek at the casta?
Okay, Dad, it's your turn to cut the onions because they're making.
It's
everyone
your
laugh.
turn. We're all taking turns here.
All right, that's plenty.
That's
Plenty.
enough. Got
Yeah,
it.
we don't have to use too
Alright,
much.
only two had to suffer.
So again, you don't have to. This is why I have the towel.
Okay, this smells amazing. Do you ever take the top off and bronze those tomatoes?
No, because they're underneath the tomatoes. Yes.
Oh.
So I don't know if you want to.
You can see that right here. There's a lot of liquid
There
building
is,
up.
yeah,
That's
there-
why we don't put too much tomato sauce, but that's what it's.
Look at that
gonna
beautiful
look
brown potato in the corner. But we're not going to bronze these tomatoes. They're going to look like this.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Those look
I
so
would think
fresh.
This is not even close to done, but maybe it is.
like. It is.
Let's see.
Let's check the meat first.
Let's see
Grab a
here.
fork and-
Fork.
It
So
looks
what do you
very
want it to look
regular,
like?
But it's.
So there was.
Oh my word.
Yeah, so it's shrunk from here, it's shrunk from
yeah, I
here.
see that.
And so you're gonna look at that, and that looks like it is. It could go probably for another 10 or 15.
At all, Layla. That's a bad idea.
Why would you say something like
Why
that?
would you say
Because she
something like
has-
that?
Yeah, She has to
I
measure
like
her
measurements.
And Lynette, sweet Lynette, now that we're on last week, same thing. They like to measure, right? They're very good bakers as well.
All right, here we go. This is.
Question? Comment?
Well, it's a comment. It said bell peppers are green because they are harvested before they turn red, yellow, or orange. Is that a true fact?
I think so. I
Wow.
think so.
That's Sean Sipko trying to show off.
I love that.
I'm sure he Googled that. I'm sure
so
he
now
Googled that.
this is the okay. So the samat, which we're going to put in the fattoush, you don't want to put in the dressing that we're about to make. That's the last thing we're going to make.
Oh.
Is the dressing for the fattoush.
But you're not going to put that in the dressing?
It's going to be on here.
No way.
Yeah. So you'll
So
be.
I was curious that because on his ingredients, it's not under the dressing section, and I was like,
Right.
is he going to sprinkle that on top?
You're going to do the sprinkling. I'll tell you when to
Okay.
stop.
Oh my. So just freehand.
Yep.
Okay. And it's like lightly or is it a
I'll
lot?
tell you when to stop.
Oh.
This is Miss Sipko's
This is
favorite
what I'm
part.
Right,
talking
no,
about.
no,
Quite a
this
bit.
is-
It's gonna. You may end up using quite a bit of that.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I mean, it's a lot of.
That's a lot of salads.
It's-
So you,
it's
a lot.
you
Would this
could,
give you
Yeah.
a heart attack?
right?
There you
So,
go. Get it all over
so
the
Sam, what you're saying is it could be like a quarter of a cup.
Possibly, yeah. Yeah.
It
At least.
smells so good. Like you had me
Yes.
smell it a while ago.
So then they'll get a. There you go. There you go. You're dirtying the.
I was gonna
the veggies.
say.
There you go. That's about.
Bringing them back to their
There you go.
roots.
Put the dirt
So that's
back on.
yeah. Finish that off.
This
there
almost
you go.
has a bit of a purple tinge to it,
Mhm,
actually.
mhm.
It's from a red. Oh.
Now it's weird depending on where you're getting it from, like the different, like so if you get some from the motherland or
Sure.
they're gonna have different colors. Like this is the one that my mom used to use seems to have a lighter color. It's
that
not
right?
as deep.
It's not as deep.
Yeah, it's not as deep.
So
it's
I
not
wonder,
as
and
purple.
I saw online that some of it was like not processed but roasted, or
Yeah,
and I guess it
yeah.
just depends how they process it,
Right,
right? So
right,
some
okay.
it's if you
Okay.
buy raw sunflower
Yeah.
seeds.
So normally the reason I do this is sometimes a lot of people will ask me to do this. So especially when we go like over Thanksgiving.
No
so
kidding.
so Hildy's family loves for me to do this. So I usually will do this, cover it,
Yes.
and then we'll do the dressing to the side. And then once we get ready to serve it, you put the dressing over it, we mix
Oh,
it.
okay.
and
You don't
we
let
eat.
people own you keep
No.
this dressing separate.
No, you're gonna eat it the way I'm gonna make it.
Of course.
Yes.
I'm gonna eat a lot of it.
Okay. Good. All right. So let's get started on
The dressing?
The dressing. All right. Oh,
Did y'all do mint?
we did not do mint.
I was going to ask about the mint.
Yeah.
So I Googled, when I didn't know what I was making,
Mm-hmm.
I Googled it, and they had their mint was like this.
Right.
So it's
And these
not
are-
going to be chopped fine.
No.
Wow.
I'm okay with that.
That's
right.
okay, but-
Now, if you got a big leaf like
I see
that,
this, yeah.
if you just want to
Break it up a bit.
break it up,
Oh, I could do this job.
yeah.
I got
There you
this
go. While you do that,
I got this one.
then
I'm going to
okay.
mint it up over here.
So we're going to get started on the.
So this is so pretty.
It's
It
gorgeous.
is so
Yeah.
Did I check on them?
No, let it cook some more. Okay. So. Okay. So this is.
Yeah.
All right. So help me to use this because I normally just smash and go. So I usually will just
Yeah.
do this.
Okay. So that's one way to do it. So the other way is if you put the little clove in there and you just rub it on the counter, it
Oh.
peels it for you.
I'm gonna try that. You just put one at a time?
Yeah.
This was a gift from Meredith.
Oh, Meredith.
And you just roll
We're
it
a
around
big
in
garlic family. We love garlic. So just put it in there and then you just rub it. Yeah, and now
Back and
it
forth?
usually will pop out and it'll pop off its shell.
Do you want to know another way?
What?
You can put it in say
I'm
one
not
of your
doing it right
stainless
now.
steel bowls with a little lid or a plate on top, and just get all your frustrations
And get-
out. And then there's like peel and garlic.
Nice. How many are you
try it
peeling?
one
You have a
Fine.
toddler and they're having a temper tantrum.
here?
Just
Kind of give it a little pusher. Yeah, pressure.
It's not rolling with me here.
we're not doing any stem, correct?
Correct.
Just the leaves.
And mint is honestly
that's-
best, in my opinion.
Yeah,
from
there
the
you go.
garden.
I can
And
hear it now.
sometimes I remember some of my earliest memories as a kid is we used to
Oh, I
have
see.
mint,
Ah.
and Dad would just
Hey,
go outside.
what? All right. All
How
right,
to
so I'm
see it.
going to
My
show
dad
you.
and mom make this amazing lemon chicken, and my dad will grab fresh mint from the garden, and he'll tie a little elastic band, and he uses it to baste the chicken like as his brush.
Stop. Oh my gosh,
So
that's a great
his
idea.
chicken is very minty. It's very good.
Okay, I love that Sam's making a homemade salad. I don't even buy store-bought salad dressings anymore.
Yeah.
Hold on.
It's, you know what? I guess some things are just cultural. Like
Yeah.
if my grandmother ever knew I was going to the store and
Let's get
purchasing
that.
a
If you wanna
tomato
give me the
sauce, I
salt.
could literally
Like a little
give you the salt.
whack on the back of the head.
Yes.
Yes, I'll get the
But
salt.
in some cultures, you know,
No, it's not.
It's not.
Sometimes I think for the flat ones, you just not want to.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, there we go. All right.
Okay, so about how many cloves did you put in there?
Okay,
he's
so
asking for 6, I think.
yeah, so that's about. What do you got? One,
It's
two,
a very
three, four.
garlicky
And these are
dressing.
Yum.
It's a little
Oh.
bit big.
Moose.
These are big cloves, so and so that we're gonna start here, and then we're gonna add.
Where's the pounder thingy?
Oh yeah, it was
Oh,
over by the
it's
So
the
parsnip.
remember,
sink?
the salt that I'm
It's
adding
the
here is
Vitamix
probably gonna be
tool.
all the salt that are gonna be in the dressing.
Okay. And so
So-
you used quite a bit of salt right there.
Yep. So I would say for this much, I would say feel free to use close to a tablespoon.
Perfect. That's what you put in your ingredients.
Yeah. So again, so this is. So I usually just try to cover this, and
This
then
is
you can get some of your
beautiful.
frustration out if your kids have been
Naughty.
wanting to do all.
If you've
this
been
stuff.
quarantined a little too long.
Yeah. If you've been quarantined
Yeah.
due to some kind of stuff,
Right. This is when you go chop garlic
there you
or
go.
This is absolutely
So you want to really keep doing this till you want to get into a paste, literal paste, and so it takes about a few minutes.
This is another one of those things that you know, if he's doing it like this. I have a dear friends of mine, Ange and Drew. Drew's a professional.
All right, so okay, so as we're preparing this, I want to kind of we didn't talk about this. So I got some pita. You can get this from grocery stores. If you're in the Woodlands, there's a place called Mary's. They sell
Oh, really?
pita bread. Yeah.
Okay, where's Mary's in the Woodlands?
On Research Force in the front, just type in M-A-R-Y-Z, Mary's.
Oh, with his,
Yep,
okay.
yep,
Okay.
Yep. And
And
so we're taking.
There's not very many ingredients in that. It's
Right.
water, you know, it's
Yeah,
just water.
11.
I was like, well, what do I tell people if they
That's
can't
it.
find sumac, you know?
Right.
And when I said, what could we substitute if we couldn't find this? And the two things they said were lemon peel and pepper to substitute for those flavors.
What?
So that's adding pepper. The
I
sumac
wouldn't
is
have said
adding
the
that.
sumac-
Yeah, it does have that.
Yes.
So that's usually to keep the
smells so
salad
good.
as fresh as possible. You want to add this just before you serve it. So just before you serve it, you put it in there, you mix, and it's ready.
Wow. Okay,
And then-
we need to put everything all together here
How you
so
wanna do
we
that?
can.
This is your.
Woo! And
You're
the-
getting
the
some
bread
great. I
smells-
know everybody is loving the Lebanese kind of style this
Woo!
week. Marilyn said everything looks so scrumptious. Love learning about other food places,
I know.
cultures.
And she's got, I mean, she makes a lot of great Ukrainian and I mean,
Yes.
yeah, amazing. She's an amazing chef herself, and different things. You know, I come from an Italian family, married into Kevin's family, where they had these, you know, Polish, Ukrainian, and she has Bulgarian in her family.
Ah,
so
see,
a
I think
lot of
that's so
wonderful-
fun.
But you have to venture out.
Yeah.
I mean, if you just eat off the kids menu, oh boy.
Oh boy.
Yeah, don't get her started about
Well, like I said, especially right now, this is when we need new things.
It's not
Like,
a
what
thing,
can we do?
you know?
Yes.
So we have to take some of these breads.
Oh, y'all want
And
me to
this
hold
is so
that?
biblical. If you ever see Bible stories, they're always eating
Oh,
this
for
with
sure.
with those breads. So should I put? Let me get I'm gonna just get something to put this down here, so we can put the hot.
So are you gonna cut like a little slice of the
Oh, we have to do that. We have to plate it.
Yeah.
kefta?
So,
Kefta.
Kefta.
And then you gotta say the second part of it too.
go for
Which
it.
is so it's kefta basaniya, which is kefta in a pan.
In a pan.
Kefta
Because
busaniya.
if you just say kefta, it's understood that you grilled it, right? So just like we talked
Oh.
about, you just took the meat by itself and just grilled it. Kefta
Oh my
basaniya,
gosh.
as soon as you say that, you know it has the potatoes, the tomatoes, and all this kind of stuff.
So
this
That's
is-
nice.
so
Right.
fun.
You can also see too.
Busaniya.
It has shrunk, yeah, like a lot.
It didn't shrink as much.
It
I
didn't
like
shrink
your
as
meat.
much. but
Oh,
can
do
see
you?
it.
Okay, good. Yeah,
I
this
think
is
it's
that
easy.
stoneware. Yeah, my Frantina actually
And
gave me that.
traditionally, don't they put it over rice? So you would take something
Traditionally.
like this and put it over rice and use the extra juices
All right, you want to get me a plate and we'll plate this with a
Oh,
spatula?
That's good stuff, Layla.
So, and you know what? If that doesn't, everyone, I mean, mostly everyone knows how to make rice. If you have some in your pantry right now, go ahead and cook that up. It doesn't take all that long.
I love Trader Joe's for rice.
Yeah?
I buy the little pre-cooked bags. You just pop them in your microwave for 3 minutes. Love it.
Have you looked around?
I know.
I don't have a microwave.
Growing
you notice it?
oh my gosh. Okay, yeah.
don't
I
have a
love that we're
microwave.
still friends.
All right, so this.
Oh, I'm excited to see
at
this.
All right,
Yeah.
come on. All right, there it is.
It I wish people could smell what the
And
kitchen
that would
smells
be a
like right
portion?
now.
That will be a portion.
Oh,
Well,
my
that's a
goodness.
starter portion.
Right. Yeah, as an
And
appetizer.
so typically you'll have a lot of, like we said, there's a lot of juice. So you'll have some rice there, and then you eat it with rice, and this is it. Yeah,
Now,
this
would
is
you
potatoes
put
and-
this on the same plate as that?
You can.
Okay.
You can if you
Yeah.
want to.
Normally that would be taking up the whole plate.
Well,
That with the rice.
yeah, that with the rice is probably. So when we used to eat it, rice and that was your meal.
Wonderful.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Do we have any more questions coming through?
I think that's
at
all the questions.
Okay, so I'm hoping that if you were intimidated by cooking Lebanese, this goes onto our YouTube channel. I will post I'll post the ingredient list. I'll post the recipes for you, and you can go and redo this. I forgot to say this at the beginning. You can always pause us if we're going too fast. We've got a lot of help in our kitchen.
Right.
Next time, if you're watching live and we're going too fast, pause, and then we can go on your time. So thank you so much for all of y'all that have joined us today. Thank you for my amazing
Thanks for
schooling
having us.
today. Oh my
Thanks for
goodness.
having us.
And I'm thinking, like, I've known you guys a long time, and I'm just going to say, you've been holding out. Okay, so we're going to just keep that
We'll charge
going.
you next time.
Okay. So thank y'all for coming, for watching. Please tune in next time. I don't know what we're making. If you have suggestions, please let us
Always
know.
let us know.
And yes, let us know. We'd love to keep up with us. And remember, shut off the news, pick up the spoon. Have a great Thursday, guys. Bye.
Bye.
So
Woo!
cannot
Okay,
stop
now
thinking
I'm
about the baba
so
ganoush.
excited.
So we're
It's so
eating it,
good.
right?
Well, you know what?
No,